Hello and welcome to Warp Taste Podcast. I'm ryanrexwrex and I'm here with Kurt Travis, the man himself. Welcome, Kurt, and nice to have you on here,
Oh,
man.
yeah, nice to be here. Stoked to do a round two.
Part two.
Yeah, part
What's
two.
up? Heck yeah. So
Yeah.
first and foremost, Kurt, you got a new tour coming up and you got a stacked lineup of the homies. You want to plug that real quick? Let everybody know what you got going on here in the near future.
Yeah, so I'm going out on tour with my boy Zachary Garren, and we're gonna be playing some old songs that we wrote together in Dance Gavin Dance. And he also learned a lot like bird songs, which is cool. Like kind of he was never involved in that, but obviously we dig each other's music and whatnot. And so he was happy to learn those songs. And yeah, we did a West Coast tour, and there were so many people wanting the same thing on the East Coast. We just had to do it. So um and then Oklahoma actually got canceled on the last run,
Yeah.
and so we threw Oklahoma back in the mix. And they are just super excited for this show. It's crazy. I never thought that I'd have a crazy show in Oklahoma, but I'm
Yeah.
really stoked. I'm really excited to see everybody have a good time. And yeah, I have a bunch of bands that are supporting me. Amarionette, my boys, Amarionette from Las Vegas. They're half of the band is going to be kind of my backup band with Zach. So they're helping me out there. And then we got my boy Ken Mundo. He showed me some new stuff, and it's incredible. And
Mhm.
it's not released yet. And I asked him, I was like, dude, are you going to be playing any of the tracks that, because Donovan showed it to me actually. Ken didn't even show it to me, but Donovan was really excited. And so he's like, dude, check this out. And so he's going to be playing
Heck
some
yeah.
new music. I can't wait to hear it. And
I
then
had
we
seen
got,
I had seen Mundo at the Hail the Sun came through Arizona recently, and
yeah,
I did photography for the Kaunashi and Being as an Ocean and Origami Button. I did photography and I saw him
I,
over there. He's always cool. He's always around, man. He's busy.
he stays relevant, that's for sure.
Hmm.
And I definitely respect the hustle. I met him actually. He was doing merch for Royal Coda for a tour.
Nice. Nice.
uh Sweetest dude ever. uh
Hmm.
Awesome dude to be around, and just overall one of the mega homies. Yeah.
Yeah,
uh
super talented as well.
and he has come a long way, man. Really has been honing in his craft. So yeah. And then the other two bands that we got on the tour, they were actually on the last tour. Predisposed, um my boy Dante. They're from Sacramento area. And me and my business partner Eric, uh wanted to help them out and take them on. And so that's what we did. We signed them for a record. We've been very hands on with their new album release, and I think they're going to release another single off that album. Um, it was produced by Josh Benton, um,
Nice.
same guy who did Everything Is Beautiful, Wolf and Bear. He did Wake and Elephantitis by Hail the Sun.
Yeah.
Secret Band. He's done a bunch.
Yeah.
Couple Idola records. Um, so yeah, so we're really excited to roll out that album for Predisposed, and then they're good friends, Predisposed good friends with Giveaway. And I actually saw Giveaway at the Colonial Cafe in Sacramento. It was a Halloween show, and I was so captivated by them. Very like throwback emo sound. That is just awesome. Kind of reminds me of like, My Iron Lung, or I don't know, something like San Diego emo, you know what I mean? Which I think they're from like San Francisco area, so not too
Yeah.
far away. And they're just incredible. I really enjoyed them on the last tour, and so I wanted Predisposed and Giveaway to be on this run with me. Plus, Dante jumps up and does some of the kind of scrams vocals, to help me out with Corey's parts on the A Lot Like Birds songs. So,
Nice. That's
yeah,
sick. Yeah, that's sick. That's better than not doing it. It's always a bummer.
absolutely, yeah. No, and I used to do it even when Corey was in the band. Me and him would he would do some of my parts, I would do some of his
Yeah.
parts. It
I
was
mean, I saw you on the Scary Kids Scaring Kids tour, and you were doing both, dude. You were kicking ass. I was just like, damn, your screams are really good, even to this
thank
day. So hell yeah, brother.
you know
We have Aaron and it says Angel Like Expression, which is my band, but I don't know which member it is. I don't know if it's Francisco or Eric or Aaron. Anyway, Alan. Uh, introduce yourself, guys. Say hi to Kurt.
Hey, Kurt.
Hey, how's it going?
Aaron. I've
Yeah,
actually met you like 10 times, but I don't know if you remember because I know you meet a lot of people. Um, let's see.
I
When
smoke a lot of
Adventurer,
so
you and Andreas hung
uh-huh.
out, we hung out. I've met you. Do you remember in Nanuet, New York, there was this little arcade. It was you and Angles and Adventurer
I
for
do
like
remember. Oh
yep,
yeah.
I was there.
Nice.
I don't know. I've just seen you a lot, but you're a cool dude, so I wanted to hop in and say what's up.
Awesome, man. Good to see you again. And yeah, my brain is mush. I smoked too much weed in my day,
That's what
trying.
we did together. So
But yeah, I don't remember shit, so don't feel bad.
I
no,
Um,
could
me too.
I I
yeah.
could barely remember what I did this morning, so I get it.
Yeah, it's the California curse, you know. We
Yeah.
uh we like to we like to medicate. But
I I like it. It gives us that endorphin. It's called fuck it all, where it's just kind of like, fuck it, whatever.
yes sir. Yes sir.
It just
Sometimes
makes things easy. Like just go with
what's
the
up?
flow. It just makes things easier. You can just go with the flow. You don't got to
Yeah.
care in the world.
I call it quality enhancement. That's all it does.
Hey, there you go.
Was there anybody else that wanted to say hi? Or are you just looming?
Hey, I was supposed to be with Francisco, but I'm out. So
How's it going, man?
pretty good, pretty good. My name's Alan.
Alan, nice. Hell
Nice.
yeah.
Alan plays guitar in the Angel Like Expression. He's
Okay,
the homie. He's been
cool.
around for a while. But Kurt, so you got the new tour coming out. With Zach Garren, you guys are gonna be playing songs off Everything Is Beautiful, because that's you guys work together on that record, correct?
Sure did. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, we collaborated like, oh man, probably the whole record. Um, there are a few songs that Zach kind of brought to the table, and then I put my spin on it. But yeah, it's really cool to have him playing again with me, because when the record came out, he went out on tour with me initially, and played all of his parts. So it's
Yeah.
cool to have him back, doing what he does. And Zach's one of the best guitar players in the world, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's insane. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I play with a lot of really good musicians, and he's literally top 3 in my book. So really exciting to have him on tour with me again. So
Did he write a lot of the like? Did he have like a lot to do with like the Dance Gavin Dance Happiness? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
because I can kind of see that, like that, when like there's like a different writing style. He has like a really good, like the tones that he uses, like they sound really good. So I kind of figured like
yeah,
it kind of deviated from that sound.
yeah. Zach's been playing the same thin line Telecaster that his dad gave him, like since he was like 15. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and he's been playing the same Hughes and Kettner amp since before he was even in DGD. And his pedal board is like 4 pedals.
Oh, well, very
And it's
simple, basic.
yeah, he's got great tone, and he's very inventive with the guitar and use of pedals. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I could tell, like by the like that song of yours, the one that you have, casting dreams. Yeah, that's the one. That one was really.
Yeah.
It's like very simple, but it's very, it's very good. Like it's a really good song.
He definitely brings like the dancey, poppy, element. Yeah, element. Um, and I love it. I feel like a lot of my fans love it when we go there. You know what I mean? When we go to that style. And yeah, it's just really cool to hear throughout the years. He has a signature sound. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like we all kind of have our own, style that we can do really well, and that you can tell who it is, who's playing the guitar, or who's singing, because it's just super apparent. But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that Strawberry Girls. Yeah, I mean, because I was able to kind of see that sound, like in some of that happiness, and I'm like, oh, like that sounds like a lot. What's going, like what went from happiness, and then he went into Strawberry Girls, and I'm like, man, like this sounds very similar, but then I don't really see a lot of that in Dance Gavin Dance anymore. So I was kind of like, oh man, he probably had like a lot to do with that sound. Very funky, kind of upbeat sound.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
So
know
if you
that
go to
he
this new
plays.
tour,
Yeah.
you get them funky vibes on that new tour that's coming out.
Yes, sir.
That'd
Yes,
be
sir.
interesting though, because he does definitely have his own play style. To hear him play some like a lot like Birds and like just to like hear Dance Gavin Dance, kind of just like how he would play that now in 2023. Now that he's more of a seasoned guitar player, it's gonna be interesting. You can catch that if you go to these Kurt Travis shows.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Aaron, did you have any questions you want to ask Kurt?
Yes, actually, speaking about Dance Gavin Dance, I noticed you're playing 3 Dance Gavin Dance songs on the tour because you released that picture with the set list today, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I know a long time ago when I saw you, you were taking requests, and I requested a Dance Gavin Dance song, and you were like, I can't play that. Because it's been a long time, and that like, do you feel more like, oh yeah, I can just do it now because that was like the past compared to like back then? Because this is like I want to say 8 years ago. You were like,
Sure.
I'm not playing that shit.
Yeah, I mean, nobody likes it when you get kicked out of a band, especially when um you work so hard to see something come off the ground. It's kind of like building a company, and then right before they like you know go public or something like that, you get the boot or something like that. So there was definitely a time when I would say like, yeah, fuck that shit, I'm not gonna fucking play that shit. But yeah, I think we've all um grown up, and uh I have no you know bad blood between DGD, any of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, rightfully so that you would feel that way though, because it's not like you didn't like find successes and reach plateaus that they hadn't reached before. Because I'm pretty sure, like, it escapes my mind right now. It's the one where he gets hit by a bus. But I recall that song was like the first song they had that reached over 1 million plays. It was kind of like
An
it
easy hard
blew
to
up
know.
on MySpace, and it's like, holy shit, she does smell like heaven. And you got Nick Newsham, who's collaborated with Strawberry Girl, Zach Garren, and yourself like many times, and it's just like I can get why someone would be frustrated that you get the boot and like to be kind of like ornery that people still want to hear that. It's like, well, I wanted to hear that, but unfortunately, some other people didn't. But that's 8 years ago. That's almost a decade. I think time heals all wounds.
Yeah, and definitely I think back then I wasn't thinking like big picture because a lot of fans they'll come to, one of my shows or, a Royal Coda show or something like that. And say, my big brother got me into your music. And I never got to see you in, said band. Because there's been a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people that'll say, "Oh man, I never got to see you in A Lot Like Birds," or "Oh man, I never got to see you when you were in Dance Gavin." And I think that's what really changed it for me was hearing the response of people say, you know, "Oh my God, I would just lose my shit if I got to hear that with you because, I grew up listening to you because, my dad listened to you or my big brother listened to you or my big sister listened to you." And it's just crazy to see the next generation of fans that are like, "Oh man, we want this more than anything." And so, you know, whenever you have like a song that everybody wants to hear, it's kind of your kryptonite at some point. You're like, "Oh man, I'm so tired of that song. I don't want to hear that song." But then I think you get past that point and you go, "Oh man, I'm so thankful for this song. And I'm so thankful that uh that people love this song." Something that I had a part of, I created. So you kind of get past that. And it's kind of funny. I talked to Thomas Arak, and he was the same way. He was like, "Never fucking playing FCP remix ever again." Like, I fucking hate that song. I hate that song more than any song that I've ever. I wish I never wrote that song. You know what I mean? He's a dramatic boy, like we all are. But now he's having the time of his life right now. You know what I mean? This is all he wanted. When we were recording Pushover, all he wanted was to get out on tour and connect with his fans again. And so, yeah, I think you just get older and you get over it, to answer your
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I
mean,
actually got to see all those shows. I saw you at 2009 at Chain Reaction. You guys
Nice.
were dancing with Nance. I was able to see there. We actually took a picture, but I don't even have it. The guy that took the picture, like I remember you guys, they were loading everything up. Like there was they had like the drums every on the way and everything.
Right.
But I mean, and then I also saw you with A Lot Like Birds in Pomona, I think at the
Nice.
Glass House. So
Nice.
I did get to see all that. I liked A Lot Like Birds. My favorite song was Orange Time Machine Cares. I was like, man, that thing is just like, it has like the ambiance, the vocals, everything is just, it's just,
Yeah.
it hit like a certain note for me, it was just kind of like, I was like, man, this is really like everything, just everything, the lyrics, especially the ending, crawling away, like that whole thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't
how did
know.
you come up with that kind of song? Like, what was
Oh
the
man,
concept behind that song?
pain. Fucking pain. Nobody writes a good song without a decent amount of pain behind it. I mean, I've written plenty of songs where I'm like happy, but man, that was not the era. um, are you crawling away or time to go through? I'm afraid of dying. You know what I mean? Like not really anymore, I mean, of course it's a it's the fear of the unknown, right? But yeah, that song was very just throwing my emotions and fears and um I even said if God was alive, then he would have amended us, something. Um but yeah, I mean, fucking pain, dude. lots of
Yeah. I
lots
felt
of
that
just,
one, especially because of everything about it, like that the screamer vocals. I sang your favorite song. You said it was too long, and I'm like, man, I could really relate to that. You kind of do something for a person, but then they kind of, there's always something to complain about. There's always something to, there's always something, and nothing's ever going to be fulfilled. So, that's
yeah.
kind of why I was like, man, like I could relate to this song so much. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
So
I loved him a lot.
yeah. Gotta love
I
with
wrote
your
a lot
whole
of songs
heart, not
like
half
that.
of it.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, some of it's love and heartbreak, and another it's just angst and fear and just living in the world, man. And
Yeah.
I think intelligence is kind of a burden some at the point,
Yeah,
uh
definitely.
yeah,
I feel
the
that.
more the more heavy it is on your head.
yeah. That's
uh
why they say, ignorance is bliss, because of that whole.
That's true.
Absolutely, you don't know what you're missing, you don't know, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. But lots of self medication, and boozing, and I actually haven't had a drink in almost 3 years, so pretty
Congratulations.
about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Heck yeah. That's what's up.
thanks,
Spe-
thank you. Yeah.
so
uh,
speaking of random bands that you've been in, I think it only makes sense to talk about, I believe 5 Minute Ride was like kind of like your breakthrough point. Was it not? That's how it got you on Rise Records and got you playing shows at the boardwalk where you get fans like Jordan Blake coming front row seeing you sing, and
sure.
that being a motivator for someone like him to be like, I want to be like that. I want to be up on stage. I want to do that. And it's like, what's that like when you look back to those days of like 5 Minute Ride? Because I mean, that's so far in the rear view these days for you, I'm sure.
Yeah. I still talk to the drummer of 5 Minute Ride. His name is Matthew Tucker. Um, and we collaborate on music. The song Best Way was written heavily from him, and we collaborated on the vocals. And but yeah, just thinking back on 5 Minute Ride is really cool because we used to play shows with Will Swan's old band called Farewell Unknown.
Heck
And
yeah.
yeah,
Farewell
and
Unknown. You have to be from Sacramento to know about Farewell Unknown and Mozart Season. Like
yeah.
those are two bands. Like that's your like street cred. Like, are you really from Sacramento? All right. Do you know about these two? And it's just like,
Yeah, and then that's also
I
where
remember.
the robot with human hair part two. They had like that song, right? From It Was Farewell Unknown, right? That it was like a
Oh
different
yeah,
song.
yes, you're right. Yes.
Mhm.
And they poor guy, they scrapped his vocals, but yeah, the song was an old Farewell Unknown song. Exactly. An old song that Will had written. And so yeah, we knew each other from that. I knew Will from that. I knew Matt Mingus because he was playing drums for Farewell Unknown at the end there. We were always going to house parties and shit together. And the Sacramento, the downtown Sacramento scene was really fucking cool back in the day. Like lots of house parties, lots of like DIY, like DJs would just set up their shit in like abandoned warehouses or just trashed fucking houses and shit. And we would go
I,
to all of those. Yeah,
I recall.
yeah, we lived downtown, and I would just ride my fixie, my little fixed gear bicycle
You'd
all
go
over
to the
the place.
bakery.
Yeah. I mean,
I recall seeing a member of Dance Gavin Dance or Skylight Drive because I was in high school, maybe like my early like 1920 when I lived in Sacramento. I lived
okay.
there from like 2006 to 2009. So seeing like you members of that of Dance Gavin Dance or Skylight Drive at house parties or so, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, this party's cool because why? Because that dude's over there getting he's buying himself a baguette with some dill sauce and or you'd catch one of you guys at Willie's or something, you know what I mean? Get some chili cheese fries or something, you know, it's just, it was cool times in Sacramento because it was like, you know, it was kind of like Pokemon Go is, where it's like you catch a legendary Pokemon, but it's a bandit.
I
Is
saw.
the song Rock Solid based on something like that? Is it based like on one of those
Yeah.
parties? Is that
Oh, absolutely.
L
We
L is
were.
a really real street out there.
Yeah. No, in fact,
oh
I was kind of making fun of, like, my girlfriend's friends at the time, um, because they were ultra hip, and it's it's kind of funny because it wasn't cool to be in a screamo band, at least in my circle. It wasn't like, oh yeah, Kurt's in a band, but he's in a screamo band. Like, that shit's cool. Like, and it's kind
It
of
was
funny because,
it was
uh,
derogatory. Screamo, emo, like
yeah,
being one of those, it was
It was like
derogatory,
being a
way
nerd.
yeah,
derogatory.
wow.
Like it's beneath us kind of. There's a hipsters like that in Sacramento and they all talk to each other and they all know each other and they all talk shit. I don't miss Sacramento. I don't, but I remember it.
well, I kind of had like my foot in one scene and my other foot in another one. I had my friends that were really into like hardcore, and metal. And so I would go to West Coast Worldwide and I'd go see, American Nightmare, and those kind of bands, Carry On and Stabbed in the Throat and shit like that. But then I also really liked the, more of the My Chemical Romance, Taking Back Sunday kind of crowd. Blood Brothers was in there too, and The Used. Those were shows that we went to at the boardwalk. We saw The Used in front of, maybe 200 people. You know what I mean? 250 people at the boardwalk. And so yeah, but I was also going to like math rock shows and like indie post rock shows, and I loved it all. I loved all of it. And Sacramento was a great, I mean, it still is, but Sacramento was a great spot for all sorts of different kinds of music, and I just ate it up. I loved it. Um, there was a very like folky indie rock scene. There was a math rock scene that was, really flourishing.
There's all kinds of stuff, dude. There's electro,
Yeah,
like the grindcore, like that MySpace deathcore sound where everyone like I think there was a band called This Side of the Nightmare that was
right.
really sick. They used to play the
Yeah,
coffee shop all the time. It was just like there was a lot of cool stuff that was happening, and it was all happening at the same time because everybody was like, "Well, we got to get popular on MySpace." And the only way you're gonna do that is if you have footage of you playing somewhere like that dude and that dude. And it's
right.
not like we didn't have TikTok and all that other stuff where you could just take videos. If you took videos in your home, it's like, well, that dude's at home. Like he's not going nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Like going out and being places and being seen places by like whether it was just a network or because label execs like Rise Records wasn't that far. Like, like they were signing up,
Yeah,
like they were just gobbling up lots of people.
yeah,
So it was kind of imperative, like for all these scenes to be thriving and flourishing.
yeah. Yeah, no, it was kind of crazy because, like, sometimes, people didn't mesh well. There'd be like some Reno straight edge kids or something like that. They were always being violent and shit, and so
Pit crews, just little
yeah,
there's I don't know if it's as prevalent now as it was back in the day, but you don't see too many people carrying like razor blades like stitched into their jackets and stuff nowadays. Like there was some angry violence back in the day.
well, yeah. I mean, Hoods had that venue that was it was like an illegal venue. Um,
I
and
love hoods. I
it
love
just
hoods though.
post no bills. Yeah, it just said post no bills on in the front, but everybody knew it was a DIY venue. And it was just no windows, brick, box, and everybody used to play there. I saw the Bled, they played there. American
Bled's
Nightmare,
so sick.
yeah, yeah. Embrace the End. I don't know if you know who Embrace the End is, but they were huge
Yeah.
back in the day.
I haven't
Century
heard
Media.
that one. I haven't heard that in a minute. I don't. They're
Yeah,
not a band no more, huh?
I don't think so. I mean, I remember they signed like a 10 record deal or some crazy shit with Century Media, but yeah, I don't think there's a band anymore. But there was this singer named Pat Piccolo. I don't know if he's around or whatever, but he was in another band called Beneath the Ashes, and it was basically the same band with like one different member. Like
Yeah.
it was basically Embrace the End, but without somebody or whatever. And I went to a Halloween party, and it was one of those things where the bands were playing in the garage, and they had all these shitty twin mattresses like lined on the walls. I think for sound, and then also they were fucking people up in there. And I just remember the singer's mic had cut out in a breakdown, in like a crazy breakdown. And it didn't even fucking matter. You could still hear him. And everybody was dogpiling him, like typical shit. Um, and the microphone just shit out. It was awesome. And those are the kind of things that I remember from Sacramento, just being like, oh my god, like this is it. This is this is the shit. This is what music is for me, and it's cool. It like kind of shaped my stage presence. It shaped, that's why I like to pass the mic a lot. You know what I mean? Because just used to go to hardcore shows all the time where that's what they do. And it's really interesting to me to see all these new hardcore bands like Knocked Loose, and I don't know, some other ones. I Lorna Shore or something like that, right? Are those guys? I see these band names and I'm just like, oh shit, like hardcore's never going to die. Like it's never, it's here to stay. It's pretty
people,
crazy.
people need to be angry.
Right.
I mean,
Stray from the path will always make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They'll never go hungry, I don't think.
Right.
As long as someone needs to mosh and hardcore dance, someone needs to pick up the quarters, they're gonna be collecting them quarters, I think, and royalties at least. Heck,
Oh,
yeah.
good for them, man. It's yeah. I saw a couple pictures of Equal Vision Records posted this, but it was Bane. The original member of Bane played a show, and it made me feel really old because the guy looks super old, the singer. And it's like, yeah, I mean, well, shit, they have been around for fucking ever. But it's just cool to see that, like that guy is still screaming into a microphone and people fucking eat it up. They love it, bands like Comeback Kid and shit like that. That's Killing the Dream and
Bleeding Through. Still doing. They're re-releasing stuff for Lost in the my brain. You know what I'm talking about with Revenge I See. You have Love Lost in a Hail of Bloodshed or Murder or something like that. I'm it's been a long day, but
no, it's cool. I know what you're talking about. I saw
This Love is Murderous. That's it.
Yeah.
So I had a question. I saw you guys played like a UK show. There was this guy that I used to watch a lot, because he used to watch your guys, Dance Gavin Dance, but then he also did Eternity Forever. I think he was from like the UK. I don't know if you probably recall Mikerisms.
Mikerisms.
How did you guys get him to like play with you? Did you guys watch a video or?
I think he just played one show with us, but I did ask him to go out on tour with me. I was doing a European tour, and it was back when, Brandon was, he didn't really want to tour and all that. And so I was just, saying, fuck it, I'll just go and play these songs. And yeah, he's got like a whole family with kids and everything. He's got a full-time job, and I asked him, and he goes, dude, I would love to, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a married man. I can't just go out on the road with you. And I was like, oh, that's okay. Well, do you think you could play a show, if we come through? And he was like, absolutely. Like, I'd love to jump up there and play with you guys. That tour was a decent tour, but I remember that specific show being really bunk. Like, it was so bad. It was like maybe 5 people there.
Oh man.
And it was, it fucking happens, man, especially when you're on the other side of the country or the world, excuse me. People go, why don't you come to here? It's like, well, one person, like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to play a show in front of one person. I can't do it.
But I mean, at least it becomes a story on a podcast a couple of years later, and it's like now people. I mean, Microisms has only grown in stature and family, I'm sure, since then. So
dude,
I mean,
so cool. Yeah, he's one of the nicest dudes ever, and yeah, I'm glad I met that dude. I don't know him very well, but like I said, he's a big fan, and he's a great guitar player. So good for him. He was able to figure it out, figure life out, play his music and also do the whole family thing. So I tip my hat to that.
Because that's what I was kind of getting at. Like you're playing shows over here, people over here, but then you go like across the world, and it's like you have like 5 fans, so it's kind of like, oh, how what's the change of pace? Like, it's like a big difference. I bet it must probably, I don't know. Does that feel any different?
Oh, I mean, they are humbling experiences, and I feel like they're necessary. And mind you, if we play in London's a great show. Manchester is a great show. If we go up to Glasgow, that's a great show. There's a lot of places in the UK and in Europe that, Germany is great. Whenever we play Germany, it's a packed house. I don't get to really get there very often, but yeah, whenever we go and play there, it's great. The show we played with Mike, we were in Sheffield, England. So I mean, it's not really a spot that we really go to a whole lot. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but yeah, it was pretty abysmal. But humbling, dude. You gotta have those humbling experiences. Because
I mean,
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna build a brand, a name, a band, you're gonna run into stuff like that. Hail the Sun, I mean, they're fucking killing it right now. And I've played shows with Hail where nobody shows up, and it's like, well, okay, I mean, it happens. It definitely happens. And I think they're a great example of you're not defined by one show. You know what I mean?
I think those shows are important though, because for those 5 people that are there, I feel like those shows are a little harder to play because I mean, between sets you can hear if they're digging it or not, and you can definitely hear even during your set if they're digging it or not. But
yeah,
I think it creates those moments though for like, you get those 5 people, and in 20 years they're gonna be like, guess what? You see Kurt Travis, he's over there playing on wherever on the TV in 20 years, and there's like, I saw him in a pub in the middle of Manchester. There was 5 of us there. Look at him now. He's humongous. And that guy's gonna be cooler to everybody else around him because they're like, dang, he saw him in a pub with 5 people. What were they thinking back then?
Yeah, man. It's all life experience, and it all just kind of molds you into what you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, going out to the other side of the world and performing your music for people, and then being just as stoked as people in the States, that's a cool feeling. I've gotten to open up for DGD actually over in the UK and in Europe, and obviously those shows are amazing. And I'm very fortunate to be able to still kind of unofficially, officially, you know what I mean, play with them from time to time, because it keeps my name going. It keeps relevance in the music, and what they're doing and what I'm doing is you know
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw you guys play. I saw you play at was it in Santa Ana? I forgot the name of the venue. It's my favorite venue though. But it was when Johnny Craig was playing, and then you came back and you played, and you guys were all three singing. So it's kind of
yeah,
like to kind of see those kind of things.
yeah, the 10-year tour, that was all.
Yeah,
Yeah, was it
yeah.
House
That
of
was
Blues, Santa Ana? Is there a House of Blues there? I don't know.
there is a House of Blues in Anaheim, but I don't
Right.
think it was House of Blues. They had a chain fest at that same venue.
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot what it was. Maybe Francisco knows. Do you know, Francisco, the name of the venue? It's my favorite venue. It's like in Santa Ana. But yeah, I saw that thing and I was like, man, yeah, it was cool. You see the different singers of different eras, and then you kind of see the contrast, and it's like, oh, that's pretty neat. They're bringing everybody. You can kind of see the differences. Everybody. It's kind of like a service. Like a fan service. To kind of give everybody their little piece, because that song. I was always surprised about Rock Solid. Like, I never understood, like, man, that song is just so popular. I'm just like, I don't understand why, but then you're giving me the description. It's like, oh, well, this is kind of how the culture is in, Sacramento, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that, that makes a lot of sense.
It's a time stamp. It's part of history. You know what I mean? At this point, lots of nostalgia. Yeah.
It's a snapshot. It's a snapshot of a certain time and place where Kurt was at one time, and those people were talking, and I'm sure they still are.
Yeah.
They never stop.
Go ahead.
Aaron, go ahead, ask something, because go ahead.
I was just gonna say I saw the 10-year anniversary tour too in New York in this small venue called The Chance, and it was maybe like 50 to 100 people, but it was such an amazing experience because I never saw a lot like Birds before, and I listened to them, but I wasn't like super into them. But
Yeah.
once I saw them play there with Kurt, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then they became one of my favorite bands. But like you guys were saying, I was just like each era of Dance Gavin Dance, listening to how they sounded with each different singer all at the same time is such a surreal moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Will and I have always talked about maybe doing a happiness tour where we just do the whole album.
That'd be sick. I saw Will at the Hail the Sun show at the Troubadour.
Nice.
It was cool. We got a picture. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Andrew Wells played. That was pretty cool.
Dude, he sounded so good. I didn't get to go to the show, but I saw some clips, and
yeah, and
freaking
Sandy Bronco opened. It was so sick. It was all the homies in one place. It was great.
It's awesome.
Heck yeah. So, Kurt, I know you're short on time. You got to get back to band practice with Amarionette to get ready for this awesome tour that everybody should go to that's watching. If you're watching this, go buy a ticket right now. But
Please.
I had like a few like sponsored questions, and then I had a few fan questions. If you got the time, I don't want to take all your time. I understand, but at least these two questions, at least.
Absolutely.
All right. So our first question they wanted to like fill you in on their band and felt like, you should hear about them. They're called the Altarist, just Altarist by itself. No, they're a 5-piece alternative metalcore band based in Buffalo, New York. We've been in the scene for a little less than a year and have already made some moves in the music scene, playing shows in and out of New York. We have 2 singles out, one of them being a music video and another single coming out September 1st. I can send you the new song if you want to debut it on your podcast. That would be super cool. A common theme with our songs is they're named after folktale and mythological creatures and putting a spin on the origins to make it more relatable to the people. Vampire, Siren, and Medusa. The new one that's coming out is called Medusa.
Hi.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds like a really cool band from New York. I mean, for a band that's got 3 singles out and one on the way, do you have any advice for a band like that, Kurt?
Oh man. I'd say for a band starting out, definitely just take every opportunity. Like, you guys got to be yes men. You know what I mean? Play the sketchy show that you're not sure about. You know what I mean? Drive, a couple hours to play in front of a few people, because every little bit helps. And, every tour opportunity, something happened on that tour where, if that one specific thing hadn't happened, um, I don't know. I don't know what the outcome would be. You know what I mean? The other outcome. So definitely just, I would say nobody's going to work as hard as you for your band. Definitely, let's say you find a manager or something like that, or somebody wants to help you out. Just always remember that at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that have to really, hit the ground and promote your stuff. But yeah, I would just say, don't be picky. If there's a band that that, like, that you're not homies with, try and be homies with them.
Yeah.
Because that can go a long way when you're just starting out.
Heck
So
yeah.
yeah.
That's super solid information right there. I think I would also, if I were to recommend something, definitely partake in emo night. I believe,
Hey,
Kurt, you just did one in Texas. You've done them before with like Jordan Blake before, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. And emo nights are a good like area because I mean, if you're a grown adult, you're in a band and you need to network with people that like your kind of music. If you're a metalcore band, and New York has like a good emo night. Emo night New York is Emo night Brooklyn, I believe.
Yep, I've
That's a
been to that
good,
one.
yeah, it's a good networking opportunity. Kind of just, you can talk to people, bring up that you're in a great band, and you can meet more people that potentially listen to your band and check out your band. And you already have an in. You can be like, hey, guess what? Kurt Travis talked about my band on a podcast once, man. It's kind of cool.
And they're from Buffalo, so do whatever Every Time I Die did, except for the last part.
Yeah, skip that part.
Skip that part.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right. So my second little infomercial information dump, or just requests targeted towards Kurt. This one comes from Aaron Harrell. He has this is like a solo project for this Tennessee native. He's worked with Joey Holiday, Quinn from Amarionette, the original singer of that's Kurt's going on tour with this band, Amarionette. They've been around a long time. I believe, Kurt, you've known Amarionette since Quinn was in the band, correct?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, he's out in Vegas too, I believe. Like he moved to Alaska for a little bit, and I believe that's when they got Izzy. And then yeah, I believe everyone's back there. Quinn does a project called Q now. That's QEW. He's doing cool stuff. I love Quinn's voice. Quinn's an awesome singer. So is Izzy. Both of them
Yeah.
very talented pop singers.
Yes, I agree.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. I know that I know this Aaron Hurrell, and I encourage him to hit me up. I think he bought a vocal feature from me, and I've been really, really picky with his structuring composition. So
Mhm.
definitely let him know that I haven't forgotten about him. And
Awesome.
yeah, and I'll definitely be able to get on that soon.
Yeah.
I just had a
Ha-
few notes for what he was sending me, but we were definitely making some progress. So Aaron, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll definitely get there with that song.
Heck yeah. I believe yeah, Aaron's been a longtime friend of mine. I mean, I've worked with Joey Holiday. Joey Holiday was in Anamoria, and I
Yeah.
believe Anamoria and Marionette, they used to open for you, any other band you were playing in town. It was either Anamoria, Marionette, Sea of Trees, or Swim Gustavo, or Stay Still. We always tended to rotate through these bands that would open for you. But I'm working with Aaron Harrow. I believe I sent him all my stuff. I believe I definitely agree with you on his song structures and like compositions, because I definitely I found myself challenged at times with some of his direction. But I listened to a lot of Mars Volta and At the Drive-In, and sometimes that's kind of rooted in nonsense and wankery. So it
Yeah.
helped me get in the mindset I felt like I needed to work with Aaron Harrell, who's like he's a hell of a talent. I feel like someone like Aaron Harrell would benefit working with a guy like you, Kurt, because I feel like sometimes people who are like just guitarists, they probably don't have any other instrumentation background. They tend to like guitar doesn't follow the same rules as every other instrument does. They can
Yeah.
got a little more free form. So something like Aaron, you kind of got to find a focus for it. And
Totally.
working with you, Kurt, I think that'd be a great it'd be a great addition to his already discography full of features from like Joey Holiday, Q, Quinn from Amarionette.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Heck
When
yeah!
his new
So
gold necklace coming out?
it just recorded, right?
So yeah, so we recorded 5 songs. I only have vocals on 3 of them right now. But as soon as I get back from this tour, I'm pretty much that's my main focus. Gold Necklace is going to be doing a couple tours here, probably in the winter and the springtime. So yeah, so we're definitely trying to have new material to tour on for late this year and early next year. So
Awesome. And is it
Awesome.
taking
yeah.
any direction like towards Eternity Forever, or just kind of like the same old previous album?
Yo, so honestly, I feel like this shit is more man, it's just like more funk than the last record. And I wouldn't say less technical, but like um we're really going for a certain sound. Like Brandon's been listening to a lot of Wolfpack lately, and so
Nice. Wolfpack's so sick.
yeah, and he loves like um their drummer. I forget his name, but their drummer is very like he doesn't play with toms. It's just kind of like kick, snare, hi-hat stuff. Um and I guess Brandon told me too that he was listening to a little bit of like Red Hot Chili Peppers. So that kind of like some of the songs kind of have that really funky sound. But Brandon is just a beast. Like whatever he makes is gonna sound technical. But I guess this is his like version of maybe toning it down a little bit.
Nice. Maybe he's channeling it. He's focusing it. He's
Wants the
sharpening the blade.
Yeah, he wants the groove. He wants that soul. That Tower of Power kind of.
Yeah, Minneapolis
Yeah,
sound type
yeah,
thing.
totally.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
feel it. So,
I'm looking forward to it.
heck
Hell
yeah.
yeah, it's coming along really well. I love this one song that we have. It's amazing.
Nice. So, Kurt, you got time for a couple more questions, or you gotta go?
A couple more. I
Okay.
realized that they have to like set up all their shit, so
Yeah.
I
All
give
right.
them.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can get a few. I have a question here. Someone wants you to sing their username.
Okay.
It's John Travolta.
John.
I believe I've had this person ask before. Andrew Wells, he was asked this question and he did it. So if you want to join a compilation, it will feature Andrew Wells. So I mean, you're in good company.
I'm not gonna sing it, but I'm gonna chant it like Ace Ventura. So I'm gonna go. Travolta. Shit. Oh, I think I broke Ryan, dude. He's done, dude. I
Oh
got
shit!
got
Oh
you, bitch.
god, that was fucking funny. I can't even read my questions anymore. Oh my god, that was shit. I love Ace
pretty
Ventura,
funny.
so that's just that hits my funny bone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. I got a couple more questions if you got the time, man.
Yeah. Go for it.
Um, Elias Leviticus Carter asks, what are your favorite up and coming unsigned bands?
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Shit. Uh, Lobby Boxer. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lobby Boxer, but they're super tight.
That sounds like a good ass band name. That's up there with like Orbs, you know what I mean? Like that's just a good band name. It sounds
They're
solid. It's just
they're super sick. My buddy from in Angles, his name is Joey. Um, he plays drums in a band called Invalids and an Angle, not an Angle, in Angles. Um, and he runs a record label called Choke Artist. And that's how I found out about Lobby Boxer, was through Choke Artist. Um, and yeah, I bought a vinyl from them because it was so good. I think the vinyl is called Grandpa Donut. Um, but I definitely
yes.
recommend those guys. They're crazy good. They tour, they're a self-sufficient band. I think they went out on tour with fucking Origami Buttons, or
Nice.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. So they're definitely around.
That's what's
Um,
up.
I got to give it up to my Sacktown boys, Dwellings, man.
Yeah. That's
Dwellings, dude, they just
Oh
put out
yeah.
a new record and it's fucking fire, dude. So
that's it's a big boon for like progressive post-hardcore. I feel like bands like Hail the Sun and Dwellings, their last two, like the newest records, because that's kind of like that progressive post-hardcore, kind of like mathcore elements type sound. And I feel
yeah,
like bands like that are operating at their best when they release records like that.
yeah, yeah. This band is already signed to Blue Swan Records, but I just want to say Ghost Spirit put out a killer record just now. Um, and fuck, Alex Bigman and his boys, they're some very, very talented musicians. And they've always known what to do. They've always known what's cool. Um, and so yeah, I would definitely say go check them out. Um, there's a band called Properties of Nature.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love
I
those
think
dudes.
I think they're pretty tight. And they're kind of one of those bands that we're passing the torch to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're picking up where we left off. I think so to speak,
Yeah.
for the genre. Um,
Yeah.
and I really like seeing that. I really like seeing bands like that. That's why I manage Body Thief, because I really feel like Body Thief is one of those bands that are that we're kind of passing the torch to, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um,
How does that feel though? Like, cause you're kind of like a godfather of this like Swancore, progressive post-hardcore. Like, it's like in its second wave now. Cause I mean, for those who don't know or are uninitiated, Swancore was a label created by Blue Swan Records. It was kind of like a marketing thing that became like a genre for bands that were signed to the label. But I mean, as time progresses and everybody's kind of like everybody likes the Fall of Troy. Everybody likes, Hail the Sun. Everybody like it's been 5, 6, 7 years now since that label came out. But that term gets thrown around, and usually it's to refer to bands that sound like any variation of Dance Gavin Dance. So
absolutely.
for you, for somebody that was an innovator, because there's bands out there like Properties of Nature or Adventurer or Dwellings or there's tons of them. There's lots of them. It's a rich scene, and there's a lot of bands that owe like Credo to you as an influence. Like, how does that feel for you? Like looking at this scene jazz or whatever you want to call it. How does it feel to be in the position that you're in?
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty good. I feel like, you know, what I did wasn't a waste of my time. And I worked really, really hard, and I still work really hard. But I do think that, um, yeah, we all made an impact. And if you want to know who the real godfather of Swan-core is, it's fucking Thomas Arak.
Yeah.
I
Yup.
mean, really. I mean, that dude spawned the whole genre. And
Mm-hmm.
Will Swan will tell you that, if it wasn't for Thomas Arak, there wouldn't be a Dance Gavin Dance.
He's like
Um,
Odin. He's like Odin of the lore. He's kind of the root of it all.
yeah. I mean, that fool was playing the guitar like that when he was, a very little child.
Yeah.
He was just a virtuoso.
Yeah.
Um, and he still fucking kills it to this day.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it definitely feels good. And when I was playing, like when I first started my solo moniker, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go out as Kurt Travis. Um, I remember whatever whatever band that was opening for me, um, they sounded like uh fucking Drop Dead Gorgeous or
Nice.
or what's that other band? Fuck, I can't remember the band name anymore. Um, The Devil
What?
Wears Prada. It was like one of
Yeah.
the bands, right?
Like early Rise Core, like
Totally.
Catherine and stuff like that.
So every tour I would do, there'd be these bands that opened up for me and they sounded like that.
Yeah.
And I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit. I was like, man, every fucking band sounds exactly the same. And then there was this weird shift. Like I'd go out on tour and the opening band started sounding like Dance Gavin Dance. And I was like, whoa, like, wait a minute, and I saw like the shift. It was like, okay, we're gonna scream in our music, we're gonna do breakdowns, but we're gonna be melodic, and the guitar player is gonna be all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of like, how will do a chord and then do a little riffy thing, shit like that. All the bands started sounding like that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. This is like, I saw it happen, and now it's weird. It's kind of on to the next thing, but there's still a lot of bands that play that progressive post-hardcore, um, kind of sound. I don't know if you know the dudes When We Was Kids from Chicago. They're a great band that does that progressive kind of Mars Volta, but still,
Yeah.
still in the kind of Swan-core scene. And they used to
Yeah.
all open up whenever we played in Chicago.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel
and
like there's because I mean, you get a lot of you guys work together, like these innovators of this like kind of sound. I mean, I feel like Swan Fest last year, where you, Donovan, and Anthony Green kind of like did that, that duet, that
That was
triplet
so
on
cool.
7 years. So
Yeah.
cool, of course. It was just like the coolest shit. You guys got shows coming up soon that you're going to be on as well this
Yeah.
year. I feel like there's like the four pillars. Like you got the Dance Gavin Dance, the Fall of Troy, um, you got Coheed and Cambria, and
Yeah.
then you have a band like Circus Survive.
Yeah. Whatever
And
Anthony's in.
yeah, and it's like it for that to be progressive post-hardcore, a lot of it comes with either it's a really super intricate guitar, super funky or super melodic, or there's a guy with a really high-pitched voice. We're not
Yep.
sure where he got that from. It's like a laser beam he's shooting it. It's very high pitched, but I feel like with Anthony, of course, Anthony would be like first generation for
Yeah.
I feel like Kurt Travis comes in because like we brought up 5 Minute Ride earlier. That happened like what 2003, 2004.
Yeah, that was like right after I graduated high school. So yeah, 03, 04.
Yeah. So that
And that
makes you first generation because you're like, I mean, or at least second generation because you got people who are like Fugazi and all this other stuff. But for that progressive post-hardcore, because 5 Minute Ride is progressive post-hardcore, whether it wants to be or not, just like Mozart Season, just like any
totally.
of those bands that fit under the umbrella of
Yeah.
this term that you're gonna get called progressive post-hardcore, Swancore, scene jazz, math, rocko core, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting umbrella because a lot of these fans of these bands, they're into it. They're very captivated. It's like you get a lot of people that are in it for the long haul that have been there. Like I remember when Anthony was in Seosin and when he left Circus Survive, it was like a big deal. It was like a MySpace pure volume like rumor mill like for days.
Right.
And it's just like when Travis joined like Dance Gavin Dance, it's like these are like events that became like bulletin board madness.
Right.
And now that's like, I mean, like 2007, I believe, or 2006, you joined DGD, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when something blows up nowadays, like say a video of you like calling somebody out for trying to punk people out in your mosh pits, to compared to when Kurt Travis joins Dance Gavin Dance on MySpace, how would you compare like the viral response to such things? Like, how did MySpace deliver you like a bunch of nonsense compared to nowadays social media?
Dude, there is nothing compared to the craziness that is the social media nowadays. You know, I don't know if I was the only one, but like I didn't really give a shit about social media back when like MySpace was around. Like I might have like went home and got on my computer and like checked it once, but that was it. That was like, you know what I mean? Nowadays we're constantly on our phones. Um, checking me too. I'm constantly checking, social media and that's how we get everything. That's how we get all this information all the time. Um, but yeah, I don't like things would go viral and things would like just completely blow up out of nowhere. Um, and it really it wasn't as big of a deal, I don't think. Because most people were still living in like the real world. um, but now a lot of people, it's kind of the opposite. So, um, to me, I just think that, whenever something goes crazy online, um, it's like a negative thing. I don't know. Like, there's a saying that, a lie goes around the world before the truth has a chance to put his pants on. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, like if it's something negative, it'll be like huge. It'll be everywhere.
front page
Right.
news.
Yeah, and I remember that too. I remember because my friend Francisco is on the line right now. He said that you guys played Chain Reaction with Dance Gavin Dance, but I guess there wasn't announced who the new singer was. Because we didn't have that type of social media to kind of know, like, oh, we're going to present the singer. Nobody has the chance to talk crap. It's just all right. It's kind of low key, and then he said that you guys were smoking a cigarette or something like that. I don't know the story. I mean, he's online right now. He's on the line,
Sounds
but
about right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah, but he's like, oh, I didn't even know that was a singer. He said he just saw you on stage, and I was just kind of like, oh, like, it was random. Like
Random Man, the singer of Dance Gavin Dance,
I love to
2007
walk
YouTube
around,
video.
yeah, and just talk to people. I love to do that. And so, yeah, and it's not like you walk up to somebody and you go, "Hey, like I'm the new singer. What's up?" You know what I mean? Like you just kind of like, "Hey, man, can I bum a smoke?" "Oh, cool." Like,
yeah,
and start talking, like, So yeah, I'm sure it was a trip to him because I'm just talking to the dude, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go up on the stage now.
See you later, bro. I just
Yeah,
needed to
yeah.
smoke.
yeah. But that was social media. That was the impact. That's the impact that it has now. That people
See,
just kind of
see,
talk a bunch
Kurt.
of
20
crap.
years from now, this is like 20 years ago. Apparently, 15 maybe. It comes back to you. You're hearing stories of your younger self bumming smokes.
Right, right. Oh shit.
It's crazy. Aaron, did you have any more questions?
Um, no, I think I'm good. I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. I'm at work.
It's all good.
Brother.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go
Yeah,
to practice, but yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. I really
of course.
appreciate this. Sorry about you know, um, yeah, I told you I'd do it and then I didn't, and then
Hey,
for
things
some
happen.
reason, yeah,
It's all good, dude. Like I've always learned, like if I were to take it personal, then the
right.
interview never happens, and it's just like then it becomes some weird like social media thing where it's just like local man gets butt hurt and yells at cloud, and it's just like it doesn't make sense.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you understanding. I thought I was gonna be able to call you while I was driving yesterday, and then I thought, man, that's such a horrible idea. Like, I'm not going to be engaged. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be thinking. I'm just going to be like, hey, yeah, I'm driving. Yeah, exactly. So,
It's
uh,
a time for soprano podcast. It's not a time for anything else,
absolutely.
But I appreciate you, man. You've always been cool as heck to me, and your stuff always does good on my page. And it's always been fun to have you around. You've always been receptive. It's cool to see you at shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should come out and check you out on your next tour. You got a lot of cool stuff. I had one last question from Candy, who's asking if you're ever going to, because on the Craig Owens tour that you were on, you did a
Uh-huh.
Dua Lipa cover. Were you going to ever release that as an official song?
Oh, no, I don't know how to go about something like that.
It's
You
it's
know what I
quite
mean?
easy. It's quite easy. I have
Is it really?
I have the only song I have out on Spotify is Super Beast. It's a cover of Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Obviously I'm not Rob Zombie as no matter how hard I try, but there's a option like whether it's through DistroKid or CD Baby, whatever you
Oh,
use, there's a
yeah.
cover thing. You have to pay like a certain amount gets like hacked off your stuff, but it's like an extra like 10, $5 something. And they take a percentage of your earnings, but like for 7,000 plays, I got like $24. So it's just like,
Awesome.
well, they're not taking that much, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. Yeah, no, to answer Candy's question, it was just kind of like a live thing. The band did such a good job playing it, and I really enjoyed playing it. So I wouldn't be opposed to recording it. I just figured, well, how am I going to contact Dua Lipa to get her permission?
They
Um,
they have the option on most
nah,
distributors. So
yeah,
there's I mean, I haven't gotten any emails telling me to take my stuff down, and I don't get my videos don't get flagged or ripped
Cool.
out. And Rob Zombie hasn't showed up to my door and punched me in the face, so I think I'm doing all right.
So he's
But
getting a piece of the pie, so you're
he
all good.
gets a piece as long I think that's usually the problem. As long as somebody gets their piece of the pie, they're usually
Right.
happy.
Right.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
man.
I think I just did that cover because, I wanted something fun, something new that I haven't done before. And we tried it during practice. It sounded great. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. So. Oh, sorry. You're still muted.
You're muted.
Horrible. I was saying such important things, and now I muted myself. But as always, Kurt, you're always welcome back to come here. I have a lot of cool, interesting guests lined up. I have Adam from Story of the Year. I have Skylar Kroom from He Is Legend. I also have, I had a lot of cool.
Bro, that's tight. I saw they're playing again, and that's sick. I hope see them.
I'm trying to do cool stuff. We interviewed Eric Victorino from Strata and the Limousines yesterday. Nice. So I wanted to do this new podcast, and I'm very grateful that I've interviewed people from the past that are willing to come back and enjoy having a conversation with me, because I enjoy having a conversation with you, man. You're always full of cool stories and interesting factoids, and just like your insight on the industry and just being a musician in general is always appreciated. I'm ryanrexwrex. This is Kurt Travis. We got Alan from the Angel Like Expression. Thank you, Francisco, for being in the chat. And we had Aaron. Could you plug your podcast, Aaron?
No, but I'm actually shooting a new episode tomorrow. It's called Ramblings of a Madman. On YouTube, you can just look up Insane Freak. And on Twitch, you can just look up Insane Freak. And I think I have Damien from So Much Light coming on tomorrow.
Hey, Damien Verrett. Another amazing musician.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about new Speed of Sound in Seawater.
Oh, fuck yes. That is music to my ears.
Yeah. We're just trying to do cool stuff out here, Kurt. So we appreciate you using your time. If you want to plug your socials, I know you got Esk Records and Big Wave Industries. I know those have social media tags. If you want to just plug all those right now, we'll make sure we'll put something on the screen or something so people can find that.
Yeah, just go to eskrecords.com, ESQUE records.com to get your tickets. And also we have a link for all the VIP upgrades. So if you are a super fan, which I know you are, and you have enough money, we're doing some cool stuff during the VIP, 2 acoustic songs, and you get to be a part of the sound check. So you get to see us running around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to make things work. But it's cool. It's a cool experience. You get to hear, a couple songs in the practice, the sound check, and yeah. But yeah, all my socials are just Kurt Travis, one word, no space. So if you are trying to look me up, there's no excuse. Kurt Travis. Google
You'll find him. Go get those tickets for tour.
Yes,
and be sure to check out future episodes. We have Eric Victorino out right now. The Kurt Travis episode will probably be uploaded by tomorrow. It takes like a little while to export on the, get the graphics up on that. And we have future episodes planned with Derek Bloom from First for Last. We have Aaron Rothie of Drop Dead Gorgeous, and then we'll have Skylar Kroom if he's Legend. And I said someone else. I always forget, man. But I said it, I swear. But it's gonna be cool, man. We're gonna do some cool stuff here, man. But please go check out Kurt Travis on tour. This has been Warp Chase Podcast. Thank you for your time. And then I end the recording.